Why are there two rounds in this game jam?
We're experimenting.
There's some cool plugins and assets to be claimed for all 10 winners after these 48 hours. But we give them an opportunity to work on their game based on the feedback for another 4 or 5 days. And the jury will reevaluate those games based on the feedback to pick the top three. And those top three winners end up winning big cash prizes along with, some game dev assets and so on. So we have cash prize is worth rupees 1.5 lakhs, which is like purely cash divided into terms of, the winner, the runner up, and second runner up. And on top of that, to sweeten the pot, we also have some game dev assets for all the top 10 winners. So, like, I mean, if you can give me another better reason for not participating in this year's game jam, I'll say then we probably missed a point or two. So this is the year, guys. I mean, get on the website, sign up, jam on, and this will probably be the best PYOG you've ever seen.
A couple of people were asking about connection with IGDC, whether you have to really register for IGDC to get into BYOG, or you can just start it right away.
Yeah, it's free. I mean, just go on byog.in. That's where you land on our itch page, and you just need an itch account to join the jam, and it's just free. So you don't have to like buy the IGDC or its ID India GDC passes or anything for that. It's free for all. You just need an itch account. Just go on the website byog.in and just join the jam.
Plus, the silver lining, I would say, of the pandemic is that this year I know for a fact that a lot of people are working really hard to get a lot of high profile people into the conference as well, because now they can, because they can actually spend on the actual talks rather than stay and travel and food and lots of those things. So I think that's like in a very positive sense, this is probably a much more interesting conference this year, which you probably wouldn't want to miss. Especially like a lot of students, like a bunch of my students also visit, just because it's just like really cheap for someone to kind of go to a conference this year, especially sitting at home.
The process, the timing, and the process of how exactly this is going to shape, like right from the start to the end, and then we can proceed to what the jury is looking for.
That after the first 48 hours, the jury kind of goes and plays the games and then picks 10 games. The games get locked though, and as for what they're kind of looking at, um, one is mostly kind of relevance to the theme is one of the things the jury would kind of keep in mind. And I would say the overall experience of how the game feels in terms of like in a whole holistic kind of a sense. How does it play out? How is the experience? Is it pleasing aesthetically and all that? So and the other place where we kind of think about is the gameplay aspects of it, the mechanics, and the actual play of the game, and also how innovative the game kind of is and how different it is from other games, or like if you just straight out rip off another game, it just probably might not be the greatest of ideas. So like it would be a place to kind of think hutke and then kind of do something interesting. And lastly, probably you're looking at the aesthetics and how it is kind of, and how it looks and feels also. So these are probably kind of the ways in which the jury will probably be looking at the games, or at least these are the kind of factors that we're gonna we have in place for the jury to be kind of lenses to look through, and then analyze these games, and then pick 10 at the end of round one actually.
Who are the juries? Can you just touch base on that?
Yeah.
Chirag.
We have, including me, we have four other people from the industry who've agreed to help us evaluate and judge the games. So one of them is Zainuddin Fahad from Overhead Games, the guy behind Asura. We've got Purnima Sitaraman from Zynga, the lead game designer for Formula 2, who recently also entered into the Women Ambassadors Hall of Fame for the game designers. We have Himanshu Manwani from Sigma Games. They recently launched Bonfire 2.
Bonfire 2, go play it.
Yeah. And last but not the least, we have Krishna Istarne, who was an indie with Selesh in Mumbai before. They made a couple of games, but now he works at King and he's one of the senior game designers at King in Berlin, Germany. One of the focus has also been, while yes, we want more and more people to sign up for the jam and register and have fun and get the whole experience, the fun experience of actually doing the jam and creating something in 48 hours. But this time, one of the reasons we wanted to have, appealing prices in terms of cash and so on, because we want people to actually push the quality of the games and treat this not as a as a 48 hour exercise just for the sake of being a game jam. The only reason we have a round two is we want people to actually spend some more time on the game based on the feedback, work with the jury, and see if there's a potential to enhance the quality of the game, even though it's being done in the game jam. So that's one of the main criterias for this jam, is to have raise the bar of the quality that we see in the games, which been, I mean, Yadu would agree that it's been going up, but like he said, with a slow incline. So one of the main criteria this year is to make sure that if we offer something appealing in terms of prices, would that help enhance the quality of the games, or would it just remain the same? So the quality is the main focus right now.
Why are there two rounds in this game jam?
We're experimenting. Bear with us. No, no, Chirag, maybe you can answer that. Like, it was like, so again, it's, to be just very honest, it's we're always experimenting. There has always been two rounds, actually, if you think about it. All jammers, so even in the last year and the year before that, we have not really explicitly called it round two. That's the only thing that we have done this year differently. Is so the after the first like after the voting ends, or the jury voting ends, what happens is 10 games get picked, and they get to go to IGDC, and then the jury will again play those games. So there's always been like a 2 week gap almost from the BYOG ending and the IGDC starting. So this time around, we're just explicitly stating that there is a round two, and you get to polish your game, and others are also going to polish their games. So we're just making it explicit. There has always been sort of like this pseudo second round, anyways, where we have
Yeah.
in the last year also, we took those 10 games, and gave them a bunch of the jury acted as mentors, and they got sessions to interact with them on the Discord group as well. So they could have one-on-ones or group chats, or give them updates. They would give feedback. So this kind of stuff happened last year as well. So it is not exactly new, but it is we are just making it explicit in a way.
But do we have? Someone is asking, do we have public votings and rankings since this, because it's on itch?
Yeah, no, we
No.
we we kind of stopped doing that for the last 2 years, um, mostly because it's a bit difficult to like
जिसके ज़्यादा
uh,
दोस्त वो ज़्यादा ये
yeah, it's bound to happen. It's happened before. It's not nice. It brings out like it brings out just weird stuff, and it's it's
totally fucks
to
introverts.
put it very mildly, yes. So it's, and like even it's how do you say this, it's just it feels unfair to people who put a lot of effort into stuff, and then it becomes a popularity contest, and then that's not really
Yeah.
what we want.
Yeah,
And then when you have like services like Fiverr, people selling votes for $5, like 50 votes for $5.
Oh
I
shit,
click here,
okay.
I click there, right? Then
Wow,
it
I didn't
just
even think
changes the
about that.
game. Yeah, the people willing to do this weird kind of stuff on Fiverr for $5. Click anywhere, make me click anywhere. So you can just ask them to go click on my game and vote. There you have it, like 100 votes for $5.
dude, that's amazing research. I never I never thought of it.
Just one thing. I think this as a not as a someone who's part of BYG, but as a participant who's been doing BYOGs from the last 3 4 years, and I would say a lot of people think of going big when it comes to game jam. So I'd say during at least during the 48-hour period, focus on building an entire experience and presenting it in the best possible way. Focus on what's important, like what makes the game fun. Focus on conveying the idea that the game has potential. So nobody expects you to do AAA level art, AAA level animation, and stuff like that in your 48-hour game jam. It's a 48-hour game jam because we're looking for, those potential ideas, those potential mechanics, which, I mean, of course, feedback, and if you work on it, they can become full-fledged commercial games. So don't aim for big. You're not supposed to make the next Witcher during these 48 hours. We're looking for, something, a complete package where we can, get a sense of the idea, the mechanics. It works, it's playable, it's fun, and that's it. And for people who don't have a team, or for people who are thinking they're solo and probably they can't participate, we urge you to join the gamedev.in Discord, because that's the place where you'll find, you know, people like you who are looking for teams. So don't be afraid to ask people there. You'll find probably an artist, a developer looking for someone else to team up and do the jam together. I mean, you can always do the jam solo if you can do everything on your own, which is always a good thing. But if you're concerned about the fact that you don't have a team, please head over to the gamedev.in Discord, and there's a whole BYOG channel there, and you'll find a lot of people there looking for teams.
Not just BYOG, but in general, what are the mistakes that people do in when they're participating in game jams?
Yadu.
Mistakes. I think one of the biggest things is that you kind of uh, over scope. Like you basically don't plan for. So I think what we keep saying applies across almost like running GGJ, running BYG for all these years. So one of the things is that basically if you can make a game and it's always, if you can make a game in, like, if you think you can make a game in like 4 hours, you can probably make it in 2 days. So that kind of a thing. So that is so true in this, that like you should be super fast in like fixing on an idea. Ideally it's usually smaller. The biggest mistakes is that you kind of over scope and overestimate your skills, um, and you spend time wasting on your uh, you basically spend time wasting on things. You should clearly have a plan to make something small that you can finish in a small amount of time. So if you plan for 4 hours, you will probably be done in 48. So again, it sounds stupid, but it is not. The problem is that it just bloats up. Your everything scales up dramatically as soon as you start. And don't think. So some of the things, like, I've personally found, like, be very sure about your skills though. It's like I wanted to last GG, a friend of mine and I wanted to do a game where it was text heavy, and I kept writing for like almost 1.5 days, so which was like a bad thing, and I still kept on writing till the end, and we so don't do those kind of things. So be being very clear about what you go in with your skills. This I mean again, it really depends on what your agenda for the jam is. Like, if you're going to learn new things, if that is your goal, then if you don't come out with a game, it might be fine for you. But if you want to come out with a game and have a finished game by the end of it, if that is your goal, then be sure to scope things to like a super tight deadline. Start small, plan quickly, and execute super fast. So if you don't do anything, there's also an interesting book called the Gamecam Survival Guide. If you can find it, uh, I don't know where, it's called the Gamecam Survival Guide. It's by it's by Chris, who does what. I forgot. Uh, but you can check it out. It's an interesting book which still holds true. It gives you a lot of tips as well. So yeah, so mistakes is basically this, that you it's usually a time thing that happens most of the time with people, and you overestimate your skills and what you can do in that time. So
All
thank
right.
you so much, Vaibhav. This was great.
Yeah,
Thanks to have kind of have us on the show and also spread this message as well.
No
yeah.
problem.
Thank you, Weber, for doing this.
Bye bye. Bye bye, guys.
Chalo, bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye. See you.